Okay guys, here's another one. Pain causing volumes to make a water or bio pit that when you fall into it, you know, like your health gets taken away. Or to make a room that when you go into it, health gets taken away. Maybe it's full of poisonous gas or something, right? I'm in the process of trying to recreate the Deck 16 map just to see if I could do it, and it's going okay. And then I realised I need bio pits. So I asked on the forum, Learning Level Design or whatever it's called, and this guy called Moxnix, who does answer questions, he said to me, look, if you look in content, restricted assets, maps, inside there's a folder called WIP, and in there's all these ready to go maps, these test demo maps. These are full maps. Now if you double click any of these, they load, and then you can test play them in one of your viewports, right? Any asset that's in there, anything that's part of that build, you can select it and copy, you know, or lasso and select more than one part, or shift click and select more than one thing. Command C copy them, then open your own map and Command V paste them in. And you can use them, modify them, but more importantly you can load them into a pretty empty level and analyze them to see how things are made, right? Now, one of the maps is the deck tester, which has bio pits, which is a Deck 16, right? So I spent some time looking at it, trying to figure out which components created the bio pit, because there's more than one component, and this is what I found out so far. So let's check it out. So let's just get the content folder back, just that selected, right? I'm going to start, you know, as usual with this default level. Let's get rid of that piece of static mesh floor. I'm going to get rid of the player start, and with the snap set to 50 as usual, I'm going to put a piece of BSP box snap right in the middle of my XY axis like that, and I'm going to make this into a big bit of floor. 2000 by 2000 by 600 deep. Build. Nice thick bit of floor like that. Hopefully this won't crash. Been a lot of crashing when I tried to do this video. Right, it's a big thick bit of floor there. And in the middle of it I'm going to put a carved out pit. So with the snap still set to 50, I'll put a BSP box right in the middle. Like that, and this box I'm going to make it 800 by 800 by 300 deep, and then in the front view here I'm going to lower its top down flush with the floor. There's the top of our big bit of floor, and this box 800 by 800 by 300 deep is its top is exactly flush with the floor, and I'll make it subtractive. Build, and it's going to carve out an 800 by 800 by 300 deep pit. There it is, right? Now we want it so that when we go into this pit, it's a pain causing volume. It'll take away our health at an interval like that. So we go to modes, volumes, and we want pain volume here. Snap still set to 50. Bring it in, and oh no, what's happened? What? Right, there we are. Bring it in and stick it right in the middle of the top view like that. Okay. Now I want this pain volume to completely surround my pit. I've got two of them now. Why is there two? Something went wrong there. Right, anyway, there's this one pain volume. Okay. I want this to completely surround my pit, so when I'm in the subtractive pit, I'm inside the pain volume. So I'm going to make it a bit bigger than the pit. So I'm going to make it 900 by 900, so it completely surrounds the pit from top view, and then height wise I'm going to make it 400. The pit is 300 deep, right, and snap its top edge exactly flush with the floor. So this pain volume completely surrounds the pit, the subtractive pit. When I'm in the subtractive pit, I'm inside the pain volume. If I'm anywhere on the floor, I'm not in the pain volume. Right, now with the pain volume selected, go to its details here where we set the size, and here's the character movement. If you tick water, then when you're in this pain volume, it simulates water, right? And this, all these settings are about the thickness of the liquid that you're in. You need to experiment with these, okay? When you mouse over each one, it tells you what it is. These change the way you move in that water, how thick the water is, how fast you can decelerate in it, and all those kind of things. There's also here sounds, and entry and exit sounds, so I'm going to set those. I'm going to set the entry sound, I'll type water. I'm going to choose this a male O1 water enter sound, and for the exit sound when I come out of that pain causing volume, I'm going to choose water a male O1 water exit O1. Right, so when I go into the pain causing volume, there'll be a water entry sound. When I come out of it, there'll be a water exit sound. This is the thickness of the water, so that when I'm in that pain causing volume, it simulates like I'm in water. And then below that, here's the actual pain causing volume. How much health is taken away every how many seconds? So I'll leave it in the default. 1 health unit damage per second, 1 health unit taken away every pain interval, every 1 second. And if you tick entry pain, then the health amount damage per second you set here, the first unit is taken away immediately you step into the pain causing volume. Right? Okay, I'll leave the damage type just as damage type. So when I go into this pain causing volume, it's going to be like I'm in water. There'll be a splash sound when I go in and a splash sound when I come out, an entry and exit sound when I go in and out, a water sound. It'll simulate like I'm in water physics, and it'll take away 1 unit of health every second, and this completely surrounds the pit, so only in the pit am I in this pain causing volume. Right, let's try that. Hopefully it won't crash this time. It's crashed every other video I've done. Here we go. Yeah, water entry sound when I go in. Every time I jump inside there's a water sound like that, and a water exit sound when I come out, and pain is taken away 1 damage unit, 1 health unit per second. See how slow I'm sinking in it? Right, hopefully it won't crash when I exit this play mode now. Phew, it didn't. Right, okay. Now we want it to look like water in there more. So we go to modes, volumes, and we want this post-process volume box. Still with the snap set to 50, I'll bring it in and stick it right in the middle of my top view like that. Okay, and I want this to also completely surround the subtractive pit. So in its XY axis, I'm going to make it the same as the pain volume. I'm going to make it 900 by 900, but height wise I'm going to make it a different height to the pain volume. I'm going to make it 360 high, and then snap its top, put the snap to 10, snap its top exactly flush with the floor as well. Now I made it a different height so that when I'm in this front view here, I can select any of the 3 things. I can select the actual subtractive BSP pit box, I can select the pain causing volume box, and the post-process volume box. The pain volume box and the post-process volume box both completely surround the pit and are both flush with the level of the floor. Right. Now this post-process volume box, if you look at its details here, I can give it a tint, so I'll give it a blue watery tint like that, or maybe a slightly greeny blue tint like that, sort of watery greeny blue tint, whatever you think is watery. Okay, and then go down here to where it says depth of field, tick method, and Gaussian makes it blurred. Now I haven't experimented with anything else about that, but there's all sorts of things you can do so that when you're in this space, there's different brightnesses, different lens flares, all sorts of things. You know, you can experiment with all that yourself, motion blur, etc. Okay, right. So now when I go into the pit, I'm also going into the post-process volume box, which will make everything blue and blurry. Okay, here we go. Well, actually, bluey green and blurry. We want to make that more blue. Choose the post-process volume box and we'll make it slightly bluer, like that. Right. Okay, right. So there you go. Let's give the inside of the box, the carved out pit, some material. Let's select any surface. In geometry here, select matching brush, which selects every inner surface of the carved out subtractive pit. align surface fit, and then with my main content folder selected, so I'm searching all the subfolders, I'll search for CONCRETE, concrete, and I'm going to go with the M concrete wall. And because I did align surface fit, it makes the concrete wall panels fit each dimension of the box, the carved out pit, perfectly, like these panels, right? And then for the surface of the floor, I'm going to put the blank concrete on there. So now it's got some texture. When I go into this pit now, it'll be bluey and distorted, and the pain is taken away, 1 health unit per second, and the physics are like water. Right, let's do that. Here we go. Like that. Okay. Now it's quite easy for me to jump out of this pit at the moment because the pain causing volume, which is simulating the physics of water as well as taking away the health, and the post-process volume box, they're both flush with the level of the floor. Now the pain causing volume, which does the physics of the water, that's what I'm in, that's the water I'm in when I'm in this pit. So when I'm at the very top of the water, by doing jump, jump, jump to get to the top of the water, I'm at the top of the water, which is level with the floor, so it's easy to jump out. To make it harder to jump out, if I lower the top surface of the pain causing volume doing the water physics and the post-process volume, so they're both 50 lower than the floor, the post-process volume is doing the blue distortion, right? Then the surface of my water is now 50 lower than the surface of the floor. Much harder to jump out, very hard to jump out. Okay, here we go, let's try it. Very, very hard to jump out now. So it's up to you, you know. The lower the surface of the pain causing volume, which is doing the physics of the water, the lower that surface is to the floor that you need to jump out onto, the harder it is to jump out. Now if you lower it even further, it's impossible to jump out and they're going to drown in there. So it's up to you to decide how you want it in your map. You can have it so this is a hazard that if you fall into, you are going to die, there's no way out. Or maybe you make a really big pit and there's some things in it you can swim towards to get out before you die. Maybe some stepping stone things you can then jump across, and you've got to be very careful jumping between the stepping stones because you might fall back in, etc. I don't know, whatever. Or you bring it just a little bit further down from the top so that you can jump out, like I've got it now, 50. You can jump out, but it's really hard to do it. And then for the pain causing volume, you just take away a little bit of health every second so that they are struggling to get out. It'll take them a long time to get out, but they're not going to die in there because their health is not being taken away in huge chunks every second. Or you increase the amount of damage per second and make it easier to get out so they die really quickly, but they get out, they can get out easily. It's up to you. You could make it so it's harder to get out, but less health is taken away, less damage is done every second, so they're struggling to get out, it takes them a long time to get out. They're not going to die getting out, but they sure as hell want to get out because they're losing health, but while they're in there struggling to get out, they're vulnerable to enemies. It's up to you. Do it however way you like, right? But I'll leave it like, I'm going to bring it up a little bit, so I can select the post-process volume box and the pain box that are all together doing the damage and the water physics, and I'm going to put the snap to 10 and bring them up just 10, so they're 40 below the surface of the floor now. It'll be easy to get out now, not ultra easy but easier. Okay, and that's it. Now that we just need a surface that looks like water, right? So we go to the content folder here and we search for SM Sierra Mike _ sheet, and you'll find this SM sheet 500, which is a 500 static mesh sheet, but very, very thin in depth. Its depth is 0. And if you bring it in, stick it right in the middle like that, look. There it is. Now let me bring its surface up above the floor. Look how thin it is. It's got no thickness at all. It's got a 0 thickness, Z axis. You can't change that, but you can change its X and Y axis. Now it's 500 by 500, so to change its X and Y axis you only have scale here. So if I set the x-axis to 2 and the y-axis to 2, I'm doubling its x and y-axis, so it's going to be 1000 by 1000. And now it's right covering my pit and all the post-process volume box and the pain causing volume box as well. It's covering the whole thing. And then I lower it down so it's lower than the level of the floor like that. And therefore we only see it through the subtractive pit. There it is extending out under the floor all the way around, right? But we only see it through this carved out subtractive pit. There's this SM sheet surface. And in this view I'm actually going to set the snap to 10 and put it the same height as the top of my BSP, my pain causing BSP and my post-process BSP that are doing the pain and the water physics. So it's flush with the top of them, and the whole lot is 40 below the level of the floor. Okay, so there's the SM sheet, and you only see it when you look into the pit. You know, it extends around under the floor, but you can't see that, but you just see the bit in the carved out pit. It's got the default checkers material. So with it selected, go here to materials and give it a surface. Water. Let's say we could do a water pit to start with. Now there's lots of different waters to choose from, you can try them all. Okay, I'm just going to go with this one called M shell water, and that becomes looking like water. There's some slight movement to that, very slight movement. And now it's got a watery surface. But if you try and jump on through that, you'll walk across it until you change this parameter here, collision preset, change it from block all to no collision. Now you'll fall straight through that watery surface. And that's it. There's the basics. Yeah. Help me, I'm drowning. Okay. Now some other extras we can do is this. Let me get the from front view. Let's get this thing out of the way. I don't know what that is yet. I'm going to investigate that and get the light up here and across over there somewhere. So it's coming into the side of our floor like that, and I'm just going to turn the light down a bit so it's not so bright. Okay, now we can give a bit of glow to our water pit. I'll make it into a bio pit in a minute. We'll give it a bit of glow. We'll go to modes, lights, and just bring in a light, a point light like that. Yeah, stick it right in the middle and bring it in so it's inside our pit under the surface of the water, and with it selected we'll give it a colour, a sort of whatever you think is a watery greeny bluey glow like that. That's sort of watery like that. Hang on, there's the phone. Oh, that's the phone dealt with. Yeah, so we've got this glow now. Let's bring it down a little bit further into the pit light. No, a bit higher up actually. Okay, now that's the colour. Let's make it a lot brighter. 15,000, I'll make it much brighter, and I'll bring it up a bit more so it doesn't reflect off the floor so much inside the pit like that. Okay, and if you want it to glow even more, give it a bigger attenuation radius. Let's make the attenuation radius 2000. It'll glow on the edges even more. Yeah, much bigger attenuation radius. Whatever you want that, you know, put it back to 1000. Okay, so now we've got a kind of glow to our pit, our water pit. Yeah, it glows a bit like that. Right. And finally, we'll put some sound to it. We go to all classes, and this ambient sound, bring that speaker in, stick it in there like that. Look from top view, let's put it in the middle. There's a speaker, bring it down there like that. Okay, now the speaker, with it selected, go to details, we can choose a sound for it here. I'll type water. And really all these water sounds are like sounds of water moving or someone moving in water. But there's this goopy one, and that's what they use for the bio pits. Blob, 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 like that. So I'll choose that one. I'll attenuate its volume, which is set to the default 1. So the volume multiplier I'll set to 0.3, so it's not very loud. Now next we want to restrain the sound so that you only hear it when you get nearer to the pit. So you tick allow this override attenuation there, right? And you get these two circles. The inner one is the sound and the outer one is the sound fall off. So the inner one, I'll set it smaller, like 200, and the outer one I'll set to 800, like that. And then the sound will fall off as I get further away from the pit, but it falls off all at once. But you can experiment with this. Look, there's a low pass filter here, attenuate with low pass filter, and then the low pass filter radius minimum, I could set that to well, the inner radius of my sound is 200, so I'll make this 400, and the outer one 900, and it's attenuating with a low pass filter. Let's try that, and you should hear the sound of this blub, blub, blub when you get near the pit, but as you walk away it should fade away, and the low pass cuts the treble content off it as well as you step away. You also hear the sound when you're in it. Right, there you go, lovely jubbly. Water pit. Now if you want to make it into a bio pit, just select the sheet material on the top, which is a water effect at the moment, and in its materials here type in bio, no, type in goo. Well actually there's if you type bio, there's this one called actually type in sheet. Where is it? No, actually slime. Type in slime. There's this one called slime pit. Now that's the slime pit surface they use in the Deck 16 map that's in your content there. This, yeah. But there's another one I prefer. If you type in goo, sorry. There's this one, bio-goo, and I think that's much more nice. Okay, there it is, and it moves, all slimy. Okay, so we've put a bio-goo pit surface on it now. The coloured light bulb, let's bring that just down a smidge in below the surface, and I'm going to make it a lime, really fluoro lime green colour, so it's glowing green now from the pit. And the post-process volume box, I'm going to change its tint to green, slime green, and now it's a slime pit, bio-goo pit. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you do all that. And if we look, let's make the light a bit less bright. The green, imagine this was inside some map and there was much less light. You get this, let's make it even less light, 0.5. You get this lovely green glow coming off the pit like that. If you want to, you can add a second bulb above the pit, like get the bulb there. Oh, it's going to crash now, isn't it? Yeah. Well, okay, before it crashes, there you go, that's how you do it. I was going to add a second bulb floating above the pit with a green glow that would glow and on the floor around the pit as well. But that's it. There you go, there's the crash. Finally it crashed by clicking on the bulb. Okay, but that's how you make a water or bio pit. And we'll look at next building a room that when you walk in, it takes away damage, it takes away health. It's like you're walking in a gas room or a room with electric current that kills you or something. Okay, brilliant. Just love this editor, it crashes all the time.